this question is about blocking signals here. So only the first signal after price breaks a swing point here. So we can see some signals on here, and the short signals just happen to correlate with price breaking the swing low here, right? So we can see the pink line here, or the magenta line, right? Price had just broken below the magenta swing line, right? Swing point line, and there happens to be a signal on that break there. So these short signals, are exactly what's wanted here. Only one signal per break of the swing line there. Now over on the long side over here, not long side, but long signals over here. So we can see that price has gapped up and it broke the swing high, right? The green line, or the green hash lines, broke the swing high. We get a long signal, and then we're getting another long signal here, right? And so this one is wanting to be blocked because price has not broken a new swing high, right? So basically this long signal in the middle, we're wanting to block that one. But then the third long signal, right? You can see price had broken a new swing high, right? A new swing high. So this third one should get through, but the second one should be blocked because there's no new swing high yet, right? So you shouldn't be able to get another trade signal until there is a new swing high. And then once price breaks that new swing high, then we can get another trade signal. And over here, let's see, at the very right here, same thing. So we got a new swing high right here where my cursor's at. So price breaks that swing high. So that long signal is okay, but the very last long signal should have been blocked, right? He wants to block this last long signal because there's no new swing high here. Right, so that's what we're going to do today. And Thomas, I'm going to give you the short answer here. So the problem that you're doing is your reset signals are generating signals when price crosses the swing point line, right? When price crosses that line, you're resetting your signal blocker. But what you need to do is you need to reset the signal blocker when a new swing high is created, right? So as long as if there's no new swing high, then that's that you don't want to be resetting your signal blocker as long as there's no new swing high or swing low. But once a new swing high develops, that new swing high should reset your signal blocker, and then will allow a signal to get through. So you're actually resetting your signal blocker, I believe this is what you're doing, when price crosses that swing high. Yeah, so the reset is going to be signals when a new swing high or a new swing low has been created. So that'll be the proper reset for your signal blocker there. All right, anyway, so that was a little short answer for Thomas. Thomas is one of our advanced users here. He's been with BloodHound for a long, long time, so he probably knows what I'm talking about. But for everybody else, I'm going to walk you guys through this. Okay, so I'm going to start working on the logic tab here. There we go. And so we need to create a new logic template. And so let's give this a name here. So what should we call this? One signal per swing line, something like that. There we go. Let's see here. All right, so first thing I'm going to need to do is I'm just going to create a bunch of signals. So I need a bunch of test signals to work with to make sure that signals are getting blocked, right? And so the easiest thing I like to do is I just take a inflection solver here, and this is basically just going to be a price inflection. So let's give that a name. All right, and so for the input, we're going to change the type to price, right? And so basically, whenever the closing price of the bar reverses direction. And so of course with range bars here, right, we have a bunch of bars reversing direction. So we're getting just a whole ton of signals like so. And then I'm also gonna just kind of clean these signals up here a little bit too. So let me, just to kind of reduce some of these signals here, I'm going to add a filter here. And this filter that I like to use, because it's real simple, is a MACD, you know, basically above or below the 0 line. Alright, so let's see. Our input is going to be the MACD indicator. So we're going to open up the indicator window here and scroll down to the MACD. There we go. There's the MACD. And I'm just going to use the default MACD settings here. And the MACD line is already selected because it's the plot on the top of the list there. Right, so we'll click OK. And now I just need to set my outputs like so. Yeah. And so basically, this is just telling me when the MACD is above the 0 line for the MACD. And of course, I don't have the MACD on my chart here. It's not really necessary. But when the MACD is above the 0 line, right, I'm getting a long output. And whenever the MACD is below the 0 line, right, I'm getting this short output there. And if now when I combine these two together, like so, basically, you know, I get a few less signals here to kind of work with. All right, so these are going to be my test signals here. So let's see. Let's take a look here. Let's kind of mark some of these up here. So remember, we only want one signal per swing line, right? So in other words, we only want to see this signal, and let's see, actually I'll just use the diamond here. It'll be a little easier, but we want to get rid of that signal, right? So this second long signal we want to get rid of because there's this would be the second signal with this swing line. And so now when we get a new swing line here, you know, it kind of depends on how you want to do this, but this would be the first signal for this new swing line here. Now, in Thomas's original question here, we'll do two different types of setups here. So, you know, from that screenshot that we had, let's pull this back up here. Right, we can see that the signals were occurring, and actually the signals could have been occurring because of the way Thomas originally had his signal blocker reset set up, but we can see that the signals are occurring when price crosses the swing line. So I'm not sure if that was intentional, or maybe it was just because his reset logic just only allowed signals to get through when price had crossed a swing line. So I'm not sure if that was intentional or just a mistake there, but I can show you guys like two different ways here of resetting the signal blocker, right? And so if you don't know what the signal blocker is, we'll get into that in just a moment here. Yeah, so it could be that the signals are to wait until price crosses the new swing line there, or not. And so we'll kind of create two different sets of logic here. So one set of logic will allow the first signal to get through only when there's a new swing high, right? So let's draw this, right? So basically we can see there's a new swing highs developed. So one scenario will be, okay, the first signal when a new swing high develops, no matter what. And then the second scenario would be, okay, wait until price crosses the new swing high, and then that signal can get through. And let's see here. Let's take a look at some shorts, right? Basically, this one would get through, and these others will get blocked. So there, that long signal would get through, and that one would be blocked. And depending on our situation here, this long signal might get through because we do have a new swing high. Like so. There. And then going back to our swing lows, right? There's a new swing low, a higher low. And so that short signal would be blocked as well. And then, oh, wrong one. And so after a new swing low develops, that would be our first short signal getting through after the new swing low has developed. And then that one would be blocked. Right? So there we go. So now we kind of have our chart marked up to show what we're kind of expect to see there. All right. So what is being used to block these signals here is the signal blocker here. All right, so under the function nodes, we have a signal blocker, signal counter, signal extender, some toggle nodes and some other ones here. So the signal blocker is specifically designed to allow the first signal to get through and then block any consecutive signals afterwards, based on, various other scenarios. So, right, so there's this reset capability so that you can reset the signal blocker there. Right, so we have all these different reset options to reset the signal blocker. And so really that's what this question is about, is getting the logic set up correctly to reset the signal blocker correctly here. Okay, so going back to taking a step back here and looking at the original question again, right? So we only want the first signal when a new swing high or a new swing low occurs, right? So let's make a solver that will generate a signal when a new swing high develops or a new swing low develops. So to do that, we're going to use a comparison solver. And let's see here. All right, let me connect this in. And so with this comparison solver, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be detecting when the plot changes, basically when it changes, right? So if the plot no longer equals itself, so we're going to be, let's take a look here. There we go. Right? So as the chart is developing, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be looking at the current value of the swing high and compare it to one bar back, right? So the current swing high plot is up here, and then if we look one bar back, right, it's way down here, so they don't equal each other anymore. So that's what we're going to be doing, is detecting when these swing plots no longer equal each other, and that tells us, right, that a new swing high or a swing low has been made, has developed, right? So to do that, let's see here. Let's first give this a name here first. All right. So some kind of a name for the solver here. So we're basically detecting new swing highs or lows. So input A, and let me stretch this over here a little bit there. So input A, that's going to be an indicator, but we're going to use the swing highs lows indicator. Let's open up our list, and there we go. Inside of Shark indicators, we want to use the swing highs and lows, like so. And the next thing I also need to do is adjust the settings so that they match what I'm using on the chart. So remember, when I put the swing highs, lows on the chart, I adjusted the settings to 2 and 5 there. So number of swings is 2, the swing strength is 5. And so next, we want to figure out what plots do we want to use. So let's see here. So when, so for a long signal, so basically I'll generate a long signal when the swing highs moves higher, and a short signal when the swing lows basically move lower or change. Alright, so there's input A, and now input B is going to be the same thing. And if you guys ever get this error message when you're using the swing highs and lows, just click off of it. It's not going to affect anything. So we are still trying to figure out what has changed to cause that. And if that does happen, just simply reload your chart. So that's all I did, is I just hit F5 on my chart just to reload it, and now it's all going to work again. So we're not sure what's going on. Apparently, our only guess is NinjaTrader changed something a while back, and it started creating this error message. So, but just simply reloading the chart fixes it 100% of the time. So, all right, so let's go back to our solver here, and input B. So let's set that to the swing highs and lows as well. So I'm just going to run through this a little quicker this time. Adjust my settings, select the widest tops, and select the widest bottoms. So I guess quickly here, you'll notice that the swing highs and lows indicator has 4 plots here. So simply think of the widest tops and the widest bottoms as the highest highs and the lowest lows. And depending on the number of swings that are selected here, you could get intermediate swings. Basically swings in between the highest high and the lowest low, right, during this number of swings look back period. So you can think of the number of swings as kind of like a look back period. How many swing points looking backwards in time, do you want to evaluate? And so the tightest tops and the tightest bottoms plot there, those are intermediate swing points. So those would be like lower highs and higher low swings. So, but most of the time, most people just use the highest highs and the lowest lows, which is going to be the widest tops and the widest bottoms there. Alright, so we have that selected. Now, you'll notice we don't have any output now anymore on the chart. Shrink that up a little bit. And that's because for input B, in order to look back one bar, if you remember, right, input A is looking at the current bar, and then input B is going to be looking at the previous bar back, right, 1 bar back. And so to do that, that's what NinjaTrader's displacement function basically does. So we're going to set that to 1. And you'll notice we're starting to get output here. So whenever a swing low occurs, we're getting a short, and if a swing high occurs, we're getting a long there. So, however, we want to identify all the swing whenever the swing changes at any whether the swing point changes higher or lower. So I'm just going to adjust my outputs here like so, and so there we go. So now when the swing high steps lower, we're getting a long output. Swing high steps lower, long output. And also when the swing high steps higher, we're getting a long output. And the same for the shorts here, right? So when the swing lows steps lower, we're getting a short output. but also if the swing low steps higher, we're getting a short output. And all I needed to do is just modify my output to look for A greater than B plus A less than B. Okay, so there, basically that is our reset signals. Those are our reset signals here that are identifying when the swing high or the swing low, when a new swing high or a new swing low develops. And so I can take that and feed that into the reset there of the signal blocker. So before we get going too far, before we get ahead of ourselves, let's just take a look at the signal blocker first. So let's see here. Let's block for 50 bars here. There. So the signal blocker, you'll see here in just a moment, it basically blocks signals. Pretty straightforward. So you can see we have a signal here, and then basically after 50 bars, we're going to get another short signal. Right? So we can see we have a short signal over here, and then 50 bars or more later, we'll get another short signal. Right? So the signal blocker is blocking signals for at least for a minimum of 50 bars. And then once that 50 bars is passed, another short signal or another long signal can get through. However, we want to be able to reset the signal blocker when a new swing low or a new swing high, right, occurs. And so we're going to use the reset input here to do that. So let's connect that in. And let me make sure I have my resets correct here. And yeah, we just want reset signal. Yeah, I think that's the only one we want. And so let's kind of scan through here. Yeah. All right. So looking at this swing low here, we have a short signal. And then when we get a new swing low, we get another short signal, right? And there's no more short signals until we get another swing low, and then we get a short signal, and then there's no more short signals. And apparently, let's see, let's take a look at our original signals here. There. All right. Yeah, so let's kind of, we should probably identify when we're getting long signals versus short signals. There we go. Actually, you know what? Maybe I'll just do this. There. So I just disconnected my MACD filter here. So now we're just getting a whole bunch of long and short signals there. So that'll make it a little easier here. There. All right. Yeah. So here we go. So this swing low, we have one short signal, and then once we get a higher swing low, right, or basically a new swing low, right, we get another short signal, and then when we get to the next one, another short signal, right. So we can see that there's only one short signal per swing low, and same thing for the long signals. There's only one long signal per swing high, right? So a new swing high has to be made to get another long signal there, right? So that basically is it, that kind of does it here. Now I said that I would also create a secondary condition here. So now that I think about it, I wasn't quite clear. I was missing kind of one detail here about Thomas's question, which is let's see, let's pull this up. Yeah, so pulling up the screenshot here. Actually, there was a better screenshot. that Thomas had provided. Well, let me pull this up anyways. I'm not sure if this other screenshot helps me understand, but let's take a look. These yellow arrows are identifying the BloodHound signals here. Actually, this yellow arrow is a little off. We can see by a couple bars, but in any case, the BloodHound signal, and it's kind of hard to see here. You don't see racing stripes, but you can see BloodHound's output down here. So, right, so we can see a short signal here, another one here, and a third one here. So this first short signal is supposed to get through. So yeah, we can't see the swing highs lows indicator on here, but but we know that there's going to be a swing low from this low point here. At least we have the zigzag indicator. So the zigzag indicator will tell us when a new swing low develops, right? So we have a new swing low here. So this first short signal should get through. And then the second one was supposed to be blocked, right? Because a swing low hasn't developed yet, right? We can see that the swing low actually develops the next bar afterwards, right? So this middle signal is supposed to be blocked. That was the intent of Thomas's question. And then we do get a new swing low, and then this third short signal should be allowed to get through here. And it looks like, yeah, so I'm just going to assume here, based on this screenshot here, we have a signal when price is way up here. So price has not broken this swing low point here. All right, so price breaking that swing low point isn't really necessary. Yeah, so I think, yeah, so this logic here, yeah, answers Thomas's question. Yeah. So, all right. So there we have it. So basically, setting up this one solver in combination with the signal blocker was the answer to Thomas's question. All right. So the signal blocker, again, I set it to block for at least 50 bars, because it looks like these swing highs and lows don't last more than 50 bars, right? So, but if your swing lines are lasting more than 50 bars, then you do need to increase the block signals for, increase this number so that it exceeds, the maximum number of bars each of these swing lines, might last, right? And so a little tip here, you don't want to just throw in a super high number like 1,000. That will slow down your system a lot if you throw in a super high number like that. So you want to keep this number as small as possible, but of course, you do want to add a little extra padding to the number here, just in case, right? Just in case. So, yeah, and so the only reset we needed was the reset signals here, all right? And the only reason why the reset signals is the only thing that was needed was long signals. Long signals getting through was based on new swing highs, and short signals getting through was based on new swing lows, right? Now, of course, the resets would have to be a little different if maybe both long and short signals were based on swing highs, right? But for now, that's not what Thomas needed. So this logic here is pretty simple. All right, well, yeah, we're basically done with that.